Hey, it's PHILA, and you're watching philatv, the ultimate YouTube channel. I'm the son of a photographer, just a dude with a camera. Okay, anyways, we're starting another buggy project. So we're going to be stripping down the frame and shortening it and getting it ready to accept a new body. So I scored this bug, from a dude that I met that had a whole bunch of old bugs that are sitting around. This thing was hit pretty hard, and the front windshield frame was bent. So, it was kind of a total loss. So I needed a pan, so we figured we'd start with this one. So I pulled the body and the pan off. We ended up using the pan for an art installation in my daughter's property, which is a whole nother story. Anyway, so I've got this 66 pan laying around, and I didn't use it right away. I kind of just, used it for parts, took it apart, set everything aside, and I set the pan against the wall in my shop. And now it is time to actually pull this thing down and get working on it. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy it. All right, there we go, people. There's another set of pans cut off with my hammer and a chisel, and no wounds. All fingers are there, no blood. This pan's shortened. This pan, not so much. So we're going to start on this pan, and we are going to shorten it. So the first thing I'm going to do is knock the rest of this pan off, clean it up a bit, sweep all around it, and then I'm going to start with my rust removal. Stay tuned. This is buggy number 5. Woohoo! This is a 66 pan. As you can see, I've got it kind of marked off, the initial mark off where I'm going to take the 14.5-inch section out of the center. This one has just been stripped. It's ready to roll as well. But this one needs to be shortened. So this is going to be a video from start to finish on how I'm shortening a pan. This is technically my first time. I'm going to have some assistance on the welding, but everything else is going to be up to me. So while it's sitting here in the corner, I haven't started anything yet, but I am going to start by using some of this rust neutralizer and get started on some of this rust. I'm not going to hit it with a wire wheel or anything. I'm going to go straight product right on the metal. And this is just that cool crud cutter rust remover. This is not the rust from us. This is just a bottle, but it is the same stuff. All I'm going to do is just apply it generously along here. Now I'm warning you, you got to put something to drip down. It's not looking so bad now, but it does not agree with concrete. And it says there right on the label. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to coat this and then let it set up overnight. It's approximately 4 o'clock today on Thursday. Got to get some breath. Remember, ventilated room, guys. All right, I guess I should get everybody caught up in where I'm at. I didn't start recording because, like I said, this is my first go at shortening a pan, and I don't want to look like a total buffoon because I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, the first thing I did is I had to make a little trim here so I could flip this up to knock the welds off of these 2 tubes. One's for the accelerator, one's for the clutch, and I don't want to disturb those. Kind of got this jigged up on my rolling platform, semi-level and supported. And I went and made my cut lines where I want to do. Okay, so my idea was I was going to cut the 14.5 inches out and scrape across the bottom so I can expose all the tubes. And this is exactly what I've done here. And this is what we have. The inside of the tube, I'm going to use this portion to cut a band, or this portion, to cut a band out of it to weld onto the seam. So what we have in here, I had to trim these 2 because these were for the footwell heater cables, and those are coming out because there's not going to be footwells, let alone heater cables. These 2 here, they got a little nick from the cutoff wheel. Is fine because these are brake cables, and they're going to be cut off here and pulled out of here, so the cable will just hang freely in here because this is where you're going to do your shortening. So these 2 tubes are going to be gone. Then under here we have the rear on this side here moving. These are for the regular heater cables. And I'm going to have to cut those off as well because, you know, there's no heater channels. So we're not going to be able to run heaters in this car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down and I'm going to slice these out, figure out exactly, that's fuel line, that's clutch. So these three here I want to protect. And I've made it so once I do cut this bottom off, I'll be able to slide this in without affecting the clutch down here, the clutch and accelerator and fuel lines. That's the whole idea there. All right, I'm gonna get back to work. Okay, the first thing I did is I grabbed these two pipes for the footwell cables, and I wanted to see if I'm gonna be able to get these off, and look, it literally held on by one little spot weld in its history. So let's see, hopefully the other side's gonna do the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in here and try and cut these. That one's already loose. And where's the other one? I'm gonna go ahead and cut these and get these out of my way as well. And with the unnecessary tubes removed, you can see these are the three primaries we're gonna deal with. Lots of crud, lots of crud, lots of crud. So I'm gonna get in here with the vacuum hoses and get it all cleaned out as much as I can before we move on to the next step, which I don't know what it is yet. There we go. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. We had no damage to any of the pipes. What I did is I cut it around with the 4.5 inch angle grinder. I got down as far as I could, and then I couldn't go any further because of these. So I got out my handy dandy little Milwaukee Sawzall and finished the cuts off. It's not quite square, but once I am able to look at the bottom, we'll get it cleaned up. So what I'm going to do, speaking of clean up, is get all this cleaned up. And like I said, this is on a roller and that's braced. So technically I just got to raise this side up just a bit and slide my pan in, and we'll take a look. Maybe I'll set up a tripod for this one. All right, here's where I'm at. I cut everything, pulled it together, aligned my jig. Well, it's not really a jig. Anyways, I aligned everything, and then I took one of the pan halves with the boxed rail that I've been working on to use as a template to shorten the pan. What do you think? All right, I'm quite happy with that. It lines up pretty good, and this is just eyeballing. It isn't even taking any measurements yet. So I'm going to do that in the morning. I'm going to get the tape measure out on both sides. I'm going to make sure we're nice and square. Then we're going to get a couple of tack welds to get things started. Okay, here we go with my floor pan jig bolted into place. I'm getting ready to clean it because I got a mess everywhere here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. As you can see, we haven't welded yet, but I'm testing this jig out to see if this is going to make it easy to do. So the other side has to be bolted in. I got to let the pans into place. I'm going to shoot in a couple of self-tapping screws and hold it all to place, and we're going to take another look at it. But first, I got to get this mess cleaned up because, as you can see, there's stuff everywhere. Here's what I decided to try. On my previous build, I used the boxed outer rails as kind of like a pattern to put some pans together, and this is what I came up with. And now I am working on the 66, and I've taken that same pan and moved it over. But we still have to contend with sealing off the tunnel halves. But I got this big chunk. We're going to cut a big strap off of it and weld it across there. And I'm fitting my pans here, and I should be done fitting tomorrow. But I still haven't, like I said, welded anything together. Everything is just being jigged up. That's it for now. Be back soon. Okay, let me catch you up on what we've got going on here. I've got the 66 pan, shortened 14.5 inches. I've got it screwed down to this pallet, keeping the front end as square as possible. And I've mated the rear end after it's been shortened. And you know, I didn't do the best cutting here, but this corner matches. This corner is pretty close. These sides are pretty close, and I got it square from this point to the front point. Let's see if I can get this measurement here. I'm right at 57. And again, right at 57. So I'm saying that's square. Now I've taken these same measurements on these two pans that were probably done in the 70s, and these are off about 1/2 inch on one of them, and that rusty one in the back is off about 3/4 of an inch. So if I'm spot on, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this into place. So I've got a ratchet strap holding this one down, so it's not going to move side to side or up and down. And I've been able to square it off with a hammer a little bit, and it's not going to go anywhere. And this time I even wrapped some chains around the front wheels on this cart so it doesn't roll away. So I think it's going to be safe to go ahead and tack this in. You could always grind it off and redo it. All right, I think I'm going to end this video here because I can't weld. I tried. I did pretty bad, but I got a rescue guy coming out in the next couple of days that's going to help me out here. So I did get a band built all the way around. I've got it tacked in, but I'm just really bad at it. So we're going to have to call in the experts, get the reinforcement. So I hope you guys like this video. Stay tuned. There'll be part like 2 or 3 on this one. I'm going to get Greg out here. He's going to clean up these welds, and we are going to continue fixing up this pan. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see updates on this project as well as a bunch of other stuff I got going on. Thanks for watching. PHILA TV. Ciao.